Perfect. Aloha, everybody. Welcome to the Entrepreneur Hot Seat. We're live here today on this beautiful August 27th, Thursday, on our third installment of the Entrepreneur Hot Seat. Thank you so much for jumping on. I'm Addison Bulosan, the president of Rice Street Business Association, your host for tonight. Our other co-MC is Bria Greer. Bria, do you want to introduce yourself real quick and we'll get started?
Sure. Hi, I'm Bria Greer, and I help host this with Addison. I do strategy work through my business, Brialei, LLC, and I also head up LEI of Kauai, a women's entrepreneur community here on the island.
Fantastic. So here we are at the hot seat. This program is sponsored by the County of Kauai Office Economic Development. Thank you so much for partnering with us. Our whole goal for tonight is to throw an entrepreneur in the hot seat and help them solve their major problem so that we can keep solving solutions and being part of our business community and make that possible for us to survive in these trying times. And so we have an awesome group of panelists that we want to introduce. But before we do that, I want all of our guests who are attending and watching, if you get a chance, we have an opportunity for you to give feedback on this event. So we're posting in the comments form for you to click. If you are a business and you're watching, we will sponsor you $30 worth of Facebook ads if you fill out that feedback form. So please fill that out. Maybe we'll, yeah, there we go. Our entrepreneur is getting on this too. So if you have any questions as well, feel free to jump in the chat. I'm going to turn it over to Bria and she can introduce our panelists.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Addison. So we've got 5 panelists for today's hot seat. We're going to start out with Tyler Rodighiero. He's a founding partner and owner of PacBuild, a high-end construction company currently serving as the chair on the Cost Control Commission for the County of Kauai. Next up, we've got Kristal Muhich, owner of Kauai Juice Company and Bone to be Wild. Her passion lies in creating products, manufacturing, and the health industry. Next, we've got Robbie Melton joining us for the first time as a panelist. She is a seed investor for early stage tech companies and continues to mentor small businesses of all types as the center director for the Kauai SBDC. Then next, we've got Tessa McSwain, also first time on our panel. She is the owner of Fablefox Marketing. She's a digital marketing specialist helping small businesses and nonprofits engage with their targeted audiences. And last but not least, we've got John Parziale, founder of Kauai Authentic Farms. In 2001, home to the Center for Regenerative Agriculture. John's practiced organic ecological agriculture on Kauai for over 20 years. So we are so glad to have all these panelists on board to share feedback and support our entrepreneur in the hot seat.
All right. We got our panelists introduced. Now let's go straight into this session. Our entrepreneur on the hot seat is Will Lydgate, owner of Lydgate Farms, Kauai's premier chocolate farm on the east side of Kauai. Will and his teams raise cacao beans that has rated among the best in the world at the Cacao Excellence Awards in Paris. He believes that it is time to change the way we think about chocolate, especially chocolate as a fine flavor. So, Will, I want to turn it over to you for you to share your challenge that you would like the panelists to help you with. And then Bria is going to take over and bring in the panelists in this discussion.
Well, absolutely. Thank you so much for that intro, Addison. And thanks to everyone for having me. I feel really honored to have like all of these minds, great minds, thinking about how they can help my business. It's deep. Appreciate that. My challenge is that we used to have all these customers and now we don't. So we grow chocolate. You mentioned it. It tastes really good. That's not a problem. We marketed primarily to visitors. I'd say it was 90% visitor sales. So we don't really have visitors. So, you know, as we pivot, it seems like the solution is to find those people on this island that would like to experience what we have to offer. I think that's probably it. 70,000 people here. Could we get 1,000 to 5,000 of those people who would like to come up in a small family private group in a COVID safe way and have a wonderful experience of having their minds change as what chocolate could be through a tasting? Or are there 200 to 500 chocolate fanatics that just don't know we exist? And can we find those people, and how do we find those people? So my great-grandfather, for whom Lydgate Park was named, because he had the hay house protected from destruction, because 1917 people didn't really care about the hay house as much. I hate to say it, it's just what it was like, but they set that land aside for conservation with a lot of the Hawaiians then. He got to meet every single family on the island and get to know them. So if your family's from Kauai, it's likely that my great-grandpa knew your whatever great-grandparents. So I want to have every person on Kauai taste our chocolate. I really don't have to work hard to sell our product. People taste it, they go, oh wow, fine flavor. And you compare it with something else, and they go, oh wow, this actually is really good. I feel great about this. And they find out about the regenerative agricultural practices, the organic methods, and the mission. And it's bigger than just me, right? I have this wonderful team of 7 people. And we're doing good things, you know? So I want to communicate that. I want to find those people. And that seems like, well, the challenge is, where's the people? And I think maybe what the specific challenges that we're going to talk about today is, how can I reach those people? What are some creative ways that we can find them?
Okay, awesome, Will. Thank you so much. So it sounds like the challenge is how to reach the local community and create future customers here. We're going to start off with clarifying questions. So this is the part where our panelists have an opportunity to each ask a question to hone in a little bit more if they feel like they want a little more clarity on the specific challenge you're focusing on. So I am going to start with, let's see, Kristal, would you kick us off with a clarifying question?
Absolutely. To clarify, what you're saying is that a lot of your revenue was from not just chocolate, but actually the tours, correct?
They both go together. So we made money selling tours, and we made money selling chocolate to people after the tours, and we made a lot of money. We sold a lot of chocolate by people who were visitors who just came up and didn't do the tour. So most of our customers, period, were from visitors that would either come to us directly or would come on a tour and then purchase. And of course, those people also become our chocolate ohana, our lifetime customers. So that stream turned off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so essentially your tours were kind of like your advertising, and then you'd have long-term customers. So I guess if you just considered your long-term customers, your customers now, can I ask what percentage of revenue was your tours that you gave, that was like cash that came in from just physical tours, and then the rest like actual sales of a product?
Yeah, it was about half is tours and half is product sales, online and in person.
Okay, that's surprising. I thought it would be a little bit more towards the actual product. So, okay. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Thank you for that clarifying question.
Okay, awesome. Next up, let's see, Robbie, Melton, is there a clarifying question that you have regarding Will's challenge?
Yeah, actually it ties into what Kristal was asking, because I know tours was a big part of your business. And I noticed on your website, you've priced the tour for local people to be half that. But how are you spreading that word? What are you doing currently now to get that word out to
we got a grant from Mana Up to work with Kahuna Marketing. I don't know if you know them, Tessa. Ship, he's great. They designed a Google Ads campaign, and I'm working on a Facebook ads campaign with them as well. I am planning on soon doing a Kong radio ad and a KKCR radio ad. And in addition to that, I think there's a lot of organic potential pull. I mean, like I got off the phone with the Honolulu Rotary people and to see if I can do something with them. So there's all these people that I just know in my Rolodex, and on a small island, I think that is not something to be discounted because it's so small. But search engine marketing, Robbie, and word of mouth, and going to people and saying, hey, this is a thing. Getting friends to get groups of people together, homeschool groups that want to do stuff for their kids. And, we comp the kids, and then the parents pay a little fee, and everyone buys chocolate, and then they talk to people. Those are some of I might be missing one or two, but those are some of them.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Tyler, do you have a clarifying question for Will?
Yeah, I just went on your website and I was kind of looking through. So right now, I guess the biggest issue it sounds like is you have half your revenue is pretty much not there because
Well, more than
was
more than half is gone because we
Yeah,
had all
'cause
the direct sales are gone too.
yeah. So you had the tourism, and then you had the other half you probably lost or even more on the actual product. And I guess to me it sounds like one of your biggest hurdles to try to find is how to get direct to consumer without the tours, right? And then, so with that said, how much of your sales are wholesale? And
You know, we never really focused much on wholesale before, and I always saw wholesale as really a marketing effort because direct to customer was, I mean, we're a farm, come over, you'll see how much chocolate we're planting. I mean, the tours essentially are the investment in the future because it takes 5 years to turn around a cacao tree. So why would I wholesale when I can direct sell all of my product? And here's our production, and here was our sales. I can't sell more than I grow, and you need a certain prudent reserve of cacao beans. So you guys can just maybe go get more stuff, widgets or whatever. Nobody does widgets, but like other businesses can go buy more stuff and sell it, right? I have to grow the stuff. I can't go find another farmer. Nobody does high quality chocolate. It's all single estate stuff. So that was a strategy before, and now the transition is, yeah, let's make some wholesaling stuff happen. Juico has put us on their site. We're pursuing 3 or 4 more places on island to wholesale, and online has been the biggest growth area in terms of direct customer.
I was looking at your website and it didn't give me an easy way to buy stuff. I wasn't able to find
There's one extra step. If you click on chocolate shop, it's there. There's one extra step that I want to eliminate in terms of the design of our Shopify site. That's very much on my mind, the deficiencies of that. But there's a link that says chocolate shop. Could make that link more prominent on the site, on the main site.
You know, my thought is right now, the biggest thing for you is going to be trying to pivot to how you can still get to direct to consumer, and direct to consumer is going to be your website. So I think the biggest thing I could recommend would be clean up the website, change your banner instead of tours, move the tour portion of the website to the side for the tone beaming. Don't have it be the highlight, which it is now. Have your chocolate direct to consumer be your highlight of what you're trying to do. So when people come to your website, one of the first things they see is how to buy the chocolate and maybe talking about each one from there. And that would be the one thing from there I could see, because your biggest way, and you have the same thing that my wife has, is direct to consumer is pretty much where you make all the money. And so for you, I could see improving the direct to consumer easeability and then trying to figure out how to get that out to the masses is probably going to be one of the biggest ways you can try to step over the hurdle in the short term. And then in the long term, it just you'll bring back your tourism portion, but you'll have these two kind of now standing next to each other and helping each other through times, right? So you're going to may be able to use this time to improve that direct to consumer outside of the actual farm, and look at it as a positive instead of a negative, which it's really hard to do.
Tyler, I'm gonna have you guys hold that thought real quick, because we're still clarifying anything necessary for the challenge that we're addressing. And Tyler's so good. He just thinks, right. I mean,
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Straight.
I just want to make sure if anyone else has a clarifying question. So we're gonna keep moving. I'm gonna jump down to Tessa. Do you have any questions regarding the specific challenge, just to either narrow it down or any part of it that would be helpful to know a little bit more about before we jump into exploration?
Sure. I think it's a quick question, but one that is often overlooked when we're sort of in the marketing frenzy of fixing a challenge. So it sounds like you've started a lot of marketing initiatives or thinking a lot about the tools and the language you're going to use. What have you done to understand the audience needs? So the needs of the people who are going to buy your product, or who you want to buy your product or come on your tour, who are locals. Have you done any sort of audience personas or development?
I mean, we have all of the sort of anecdotal understanding or the sort of gut feeling, and which is informed by one's experience of the marketplace, the specialty chocolate marketplace, which is a whole thing. What do I do on Kauai marketplace, which is a whole thing. We have not done any like, hey, can I give you $500 and you can like come up with a profile on who my customers are? Can you like dig in and do the like the analytics, you know, marketing analytics, data stuff like? No, we haven't done anything like that.
Okay.
We do have we would have the ability to do that and have some things that we're tracking, but it's just now that I'm working with another company called Native Species, Julia Allen. She actually just came back from Seattle.
Oh yeah, I know
Julia.
Yeah.
And so she's actually doing a contract with it specifically about like gift boxes and building a Facebook ad. But yeah, to answer your clarifying question, your short clarifying question, to make Bria happy, no. I would say that's a no.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Great. It's okay. You don't have to have short questions. It's okay. Okay, last one, John Parziali. Do you have any clarifying questions to either narrow down or help define more clearly the challenge that we're going to be discussing? Oh, you're on mute.
Most of my questions have been, I think, addressed by some of the other panelists, but Will, maybe you could speak a little bit into the tour itself. I believe that your processing, that happens elsewhere, correct? So it's more of an outdoor experience with, you know, being with the trees and the plants. That's a little bit more emphasized in the tour itself.
Yeah, it's that chocolate factory tour. And you're correct in that we don't have a factory on island. We use Manoa chocolate for our factory, and they're great. We do the post-harvest stuff here, and that's something I feel like we could probably feature better. So what makes great chocolate is largely the fermentation and the drying. So those are things that we do go through, and you know, we get them to the farm stuff. But no, we're not putting on hairnets and like seeing the vats of melting chocolate. That's right. It very much is outside, COVID safe.
Right,
and,
right. Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
Thanks, John.
Okay, awesome, you guys. Thank you. Such good questions about knowing your audience and the balance of sales, you know, how that breaks down between tours and product.
Do it, Tessa. Help me.
So with that, we're going to go ahead and head into exploration. And so this is where you can cut loose, panelists. I'll start with calling on each one of you, and we can begin to go more into exploration, feedback, sharing ideas, asking more questions as we sort of dig into, you know, what are the avenues of really reaching more local customers through tours and products to support the Lydgate farm during this time, during COVID, when when there's tourism not supporting it. So with that, Tyler, I'm going to start with you because you were just already like charging it, and I just want you to be able to like finish this thought because it was going good places. So why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Awesome. Thanks. Sorry about that, by the way. I also, just so you know, I've been sitting here like Googling chocolate and seeing if I can Google your chocolate without typing in your name of Lydgate chocolate. And I found a lot of really cool chocolate bars, and I did high-end chocolate. I did luxury chocolate bars. I've kind of put in
Hawaii in there. It's too big of a thing. Chocolate's too big of a thing. If you get it,
I gotta have Hawaii. Okay.
Let's go fast.
Yeah, and so that was my thing, is just trying to figure out how you could get to an audience. And my wife's company's the same thing. If you put in bikinis, you have to have Hawaii or Kauai or something like that to actually bring it up. And, but with that said, how could you? My biggest thing would be, how can you improve your site as it is today and put in as many keywords and everything, and try to change the purpose of the site from tours to majority of retail direct to consumer from the site, and then kind of updating your banners to kind of really push towards that, to try to make sure you're kind of pushing in that direction. And because I think your site's pretty awesome, honestly. I think, but you're really geared to the tour and like the shop, right? And I think right now it's just for the next couple months, maybe 6 months to a year, I think you might have that shift, and it can just really help improve that leg of you. And then as you shift back again to the tourism side, you can kind of morph it back close to what it was, but still having that retail side there. So as your farm makes more chocolate, you'll be able to kind of handle that with that on the demand from the online side. Because actually, once I got to your online shop, it was really beautiful. Like your pictures and everything were off the hook. They did a great job.
Take a look at the SEO. The whole site is like finely calibrated to sell tours. Of course, like tours have a way better profit margin than products do. They always will. So to the degree that we can pivot our SEO forth and back, now bearing in mind that everyone thought tours were coming back, August 1st. After that passed, I was like, you know what? I don't think their dad's not coming home. You know what I mean? I don't think they're coming back. And I definitely think we could tweak the SEO a little bit. My main site is created by Fair Harbor, who is a tour company, and have actually pretty banging SEO for what that is. And a lot of chocolate things, we're killing it with the SEO. Now, it wasn't designed with the SEO of we're going to sell products competing with other people who sell the same products. Very much a niche of things to do in Hawaii, activities, anything that does with chocolate in Hawaii, we're killing it in that. And I know some killer SEO people, and they looked at it and they're like, oh, your SEO is pretty banging. But could I talk with those people? I actually have a friend who does this professionally, 6-figure SEO person. She's great. Say, hey, what can we throw in there? But to the degree that we can do that, I'm not sure the extent can we tweak the SEO, but that's something I could definitely look into. And I get the make the direct to consumer the main thing on the site. And I think there's this whole thing about virtual tours. I think this is a major opportunity. I mean, again, the focus of this, I get the direct to consumer thing that we said we would talk about was how do we get to the people on Kauai. The other piece is how do I get to like the people? And I think virtual tours are a great opportunity. We had good success with the ones that we've done. And I'm looking to create a regular virtual tour product, a regular like chocolate tasting with Will product, where you basically buy a kit, you get it sent to you, you get a Zoom link, you sign in, you get all this fun chocolate stuff. You know what I mean? It's not boring. And you get to see like what Hawaii looks like and hear the birds and stuff, maybe a rooster. And SEO is definitely something we can look at. And I hear you about make direct to consumer the main thing on the website. There's easily things that we can do. One, to make the click through to the online store, which is actually a separate website that we just linked, better. And that is something we're working on. Although the frame that you put on it, was really useful, which is make direct to consumer the main thing on the website. I think that resonates for sure.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I'll let other people go, because I think there's gonna be a lot of people who are touching into other subjects on it. But give them some room to ask questions.
All right. Next up, Robbie. What questions or ideas would you like to share with Will?
It's kind of interesting because hearing Will talk about all his plans and doing the virtual tour, I'm going, well, we need to go back to his original idea, which was to focus on getting local people involved. And so I'm not sure really a virtual tour is the way to go. When I look at your website, it's very impressive. It's very high end. I feel like it's the Food and Wine magazine of chocolate when I read it. And then when I got to the page of the history of your farm and your families, being here since the 1860s, I'm like, that speaks to local people, because that really says something about being ingrained in the whole history of Kauai. So I think one of the things you need to look at is, how are you going to reach local people? And you've been here long enough that you know what touches the soul and the heart of local people. And then the other thing is, because you are high end and your products are expensive, I don't know that you're going to be reaching out to everybody in Kauai. I think there's a certain segment that you're really going to try and go after, because I don't think you, at this point and how things are, I don't think you want to, I don't know the better way to say it, but dumb down your chocolate. I think if you do that, it loses the high-end flavor. So I think there's a balance here that you need to find. And also, considering COVID, and we don't know how long it's going to last, thinking about pricing in the times of COVID. So that's another thing. And also finding the balance of, well, can you alter your pricing during this time? Do you want to? How does that affect, you know, my ROI? Those kinds of things. So that's what I'm thinking is, you know, you're still talking outside of Hawaii, and I'm trying to drag you back into where you want to go. That's it.
Great. I mean, I hear you. Yeah, I get that. And I think the history thing really does speak to people. I think we can speak to a lot of different audiences for sure. There is a lot of history around Hawaii chocolate. If anyone wants to, there's still a couple slots left. The Fine Chocolate and Cacao Institute is a Harvard professor, Carla Martin, started it. They're doing all these global features on chocolate farms. They did one for Philippines. They did Mexico. They did Tanzania. Another one I'm forgetting, and they're doing one for the United States. And guess who they picked to represent the United States? Lydgate Farms. So again, I get to represent Team USA for this event, which is on Sunday. Carla has a really banging way of presenting the history of Hawaiian chocolate, and she'll be doing that on Sunday. So if you check out Fine Chocolate Cacao Institute on Instagram, I think there might be a couple slots left for that. So there is a lot of history. Actually, Wilhelm Hillebrand, who was like the first road floor of the Hawaiian Islands, first botanist in Hawaii, and my great-grandfather was his young assistant, brought chocolate to Hawaii in 1863, and his backyard is now the Foster Botanical Gardens. And anyway, there's a whole Hawaii history chocolate piece. Definitely think that appeals to people. When it comes to COVID pricing, like the sort of dichotomy of how do we price our product and keep it high end and not dumb it down, and then how do we have sort of COVID pricing, I think it's come behind a discount. And you know, you're here, and absolutely, there's two wings of what we're doing. One is the direct to customer thing that Tyler was diving into, and I could talk about that all day. The other piece is how do we reach local people and find those like 1,000 people on island that find us. And yes, I have the fun thing with great grandpa and how he met everyone, and how now what I want to do is this. And I realize there's low hanging fruit, and there's certain people who would more readily want to spend more money on something that would make them feel good. They're the same people who would buy the rice we were talking about, Addison. Really nice Japanese rice. So yeah, those are deep things. There are definitely things that we're working on. And I think it comes down to Kama'aina, you know. A lot of it's like we're doing Kama'aina with the tour. And I think people are stoked on it. So yeah, that's all. Getting the phone to ring is the first thing. I'm like, you want a discount, come hang out, come talk to me. Like, I was the guy who brought the big bag of Starburst to school and gave it away to everyone. I mean, I'm Mr. Like, hey, you want a sample? So getting the phone to ring is the real problem, right? It's no problem. When we have the customers, there's no problem.
One great opportunity is, you know, that thing going on Sunday is a huge thing. And there ought to be a press release so that people know that you've got, so where's your press release, Will?
That's a great question.
Yeah, and so if that gets in the paper, automatically you've got, you know, everybody reads the Garden Island. And so then you're going to have people calling you up going, hey.
Coming to Dennis, who should I send it to? Dennis? Who gets that?
Yeah, send it to Dennis. Or
how do I get it to him? I know someone's got it.
Yeah, somebody's got it. I don't have it.
Somebody sent it to me. So Mayor Derek recorded an announcement. It's going to be playing. So it's like newsworthy. Good idea.
Yeah, it's very newsworthy.
I mean, we're representing the United States. We're on a tiny island in the middle of the Pacific. I'm like, hey, Team USA, like, does anybody else care? Chocolate? It's a big deal, right?
Exactly. Good for you. Congratulations.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, moving on. We've got, let's see, John Parziali. What kind of ideas or questions do you want to share with Will?
You're muted again.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe a couple on the farming side, maybe just checking in about resources such as, you know, the NRCS, cost share programs, farm loans, things that can help, because it sounded like you're still doing some planting, correct?
Yeah, that's right. You mean like the reimbursement cost transportation program? Unfortunately, I don't have a qualifying cost. I'm able to get a couple $100 with that, but I don't think I get multiple thousands because I create everything as value added and then ship it. I'm not shipping a commodity. So unfortunately, there's that. There might be some like car miles we could fudge. I am all over FSA, USDA, state of Hawaii. Yeah, I'm like dug right in there. And what you may not know is that, okay, farmers get the absolute best financing and options, good stuff from the government. You want to know why? Because if you're a farmer and you go to a bank and try to get a mortgage or a loan, just check the box that says agriculture, or if you just check the box that says agriculture is your job, see what happens to your loan application. Yeah. It's just automatically denied. It's amazing. Just, oh, you're a farmer? Oh, great. But the good news is, like, there's just incredibly cheap money available for ag, and there's a lot of it. That like an operating loan from FSA will be available in a pandemic is actually doubtful. And I'm talking with TJ and EE right now about that. If we need some cash to get us through. My farm is super happy right now, by the way. The trees are cranking, like my fertilizer schedule is on, production is up. Like I've got a great team. I got CARES Act grant for 2 full-time people. I got a new full-time marketing person, got a new full-time farm manager. He's killer. Awesome. I'm pruning right now. Like, farm side is great. Also, I went to the north end and there were some Brialei there and I bought some cannolis. And
excellent.
I talked about you and they like kind of pretended they knew who you were. They were like great aunt or something like that. Anyway, and I went there with the Ag Leadership Hawaii program, and then they all came with me and they were like the north end, and we walked around and it was
wow, excellent.
So you were with me.
Excellent.
Yes, it was.
The second thing is that, you know, really your passion for the product and your love for the process is so evident that, you know, if you're doing a virtual tour or even just local style educational workshops, these are all things that can get people, like you say, through the door, visiting the farm and talking about it, right?
Yeah, why don't I launch some, like, not like, hey, come on a farm tour. Like, I'm not a kind of a person who does a farm tour. Why don't I launch something on a bleak approach with that? Something about agriculture, something about farming, something that's not through the sales channel, but through the farming channel. I think that's a really insightful thing, because it's not about, hey, come like find out about the product and buy chocolate. It's like, well, I'm not the kind of person who does that, but I'm the kind of person who wants to know about regenerative agriculture and taste the cow fruit. And guess what? It's the same thing, right? As what I talk about my other stuff, because it just comes out of me. And they can taste chocolate fruit, and you want to taste chocolate. Yeah. And they're going to buy stuff from the farm side. It's not all like high-end. Some of it is high-end food and wine. Some of it is, I like agriculture. This means something. I want to, you know, and then, and there's the United States thing, you know, there's so many aspects to what we do. It's not just that. So thank you for reminding me about that. I should do a workshop. Yeah.
And then, you know, there's just plenty of just crusty farmers out there that can't convey they have a trouble conveying the message, but you don't have that. You know, I could sit here and listen to you talk about chocolate for hours. You know, it's great.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, I'm an odd bird in the farming world. Most of my farming friends are definitely like that. And yeah, ag tourism, I think you need at least someone on the team that has that extroversion.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and the final thing I would say, I think that you've probably already been in communication with Common Ground about our online, like a platform, sales platform. So
yeah,
it's just a way to, you know, you can capture an audience that might not necessarily be looking specifically for chocolate, but are looking for a local Kauai product.
Yeah, I think we're going to be involved. Talk with Adam. I think we're going to be involved in the launch of that. And then we're doing a co-branded product with Tiny Isle. They took our nibs and they made this like mac nuts and honey and sea salt and our nibs up in a grinder, and it's magical. Tiny Isle, I think, is doing a little bit of a design and branding exercise. and that's good. And then I think that's going to be part of one of our Aloha boxes, which is our subscription box. We'll blast that out together. And then I think we're going to be on whenever you guys launch the new site. And Adam's been very helpful. I need to come up and hang out with you guys. I don't know what's going on up there, man. I want to see what's going on. You know, what's Jason up to?
Please come. Please come for a visit.
All right, you guys, okay. All right.
Okay, let's keep moving. Let's see. Tessa, would you like, actually real quick before I call on someone, we have one audience question coming through, and I'm just gonna throw this in there for you, Will. It says, could Lydgate raw materials be made available at wholesale? Cacao, cocoa powder, nibs, etc. enables downstream products to integrate the farm's raw ingredients.
Jesse, you know, one of the main sort of, yes, absolutely. One of the main things to consider with this is that our products are what they call in the spirits world allocated, which means we have limited production and we have certain partnerships and things already set up. So if I'm going to say sell you 200 pounds of nibs and you're going to make some stuff with it, you know, that's going to come out of my total production for the year. We are just about to launch, and we have other things that are in line. So it has to be in line with the farm's mission, has to be in line with the farm's production schedule. Again, I can't go get more. It has to be in line with our marketing efforts and feel really good. And if all of those things are in line, oh yeah, we'll do it. And we've got some big stuff about to launch that's going to take up a lot of our allocation. Kolo Rum is launching a Kauai cacao rum, I think in October, that features Lydgate Farms cacao exclusively, and we get a mention on the back of the bottle. It's going to be a national distributed product, and we're going to be piggybacking on them in some of their wholesale distribution, Mel and Rose, a couple outfits out of Texas, and some other places. So that's going to be big stuff. I almost said big savings. I haven't done that since high school. Tiana might remember that. Sorry. And so that takes a certain amount of our production, and it's just like, that's where it's going. So yeah, hit me up, info@lydgatefarms.com if you have a query. And I think we just kind of work it from there. It's, you know, we have to grow this stuff. So there's only a certain amount, and we need to make sure that we're taking care of the farm and be able to plant more trees so we can grow even more, yet more. I like these ag workshops. Maybe I can get some more people to be my partner farmers. John, another piece on the ag side is that you have all of these perfectly nice folks with large agricultural lots who might like an ag dedication and might like someone to come in and do some contract farming for them. I actually have an LLC set up for just that. So I think that's another interesting thing. Like here, pay per tree, we'll come in, we'll do the install. You get all the tax breaks, and we'll even cut you in pretty sweet on the harvest. You know what I mean? You're just gonna have to mow it anyway. Let Lydgate Farms Agricultural Solutions take care of it for you. So
okay, well, I'm gonna I want to make sure we get Tessa and Kristal on here, and you and John can have a common ground meeting to talk about ideas.
Coming up, John.
Tessa, Tessa, why don't you hop in here and share any questions you have for Will or ideas that you'd recommend?
Sure. Well, it sounds like you have a lot of different marketing ideas, which is great. And so I kind of want to back it up a little bit for you and take more of a bird's eye level view, because we can get, when we're sort of in a frenzy of new ideas and sort of the uncertainty that we've been facing with COVID, we can spin in sort of, oh my gosh, we need to be on TikTok, or oh my gosh, we need to try this tool, or oh my gosh, we need to do this, when what we really need to do is understand our audience and how to communicate with them. So one thing I want to suggest that you do is an exercise that you can do at home in your spare time or with your team, but start thinking about the internal, external, and philosophical problems that your audience that you want to reach may be facing. So one of the things that one of my favorite marketing quotes, if you will, is most marketing is written for people with, you know, external problems. So I want something, or I need something, but consumers buy because of internal problems. So I want to feel something, or philosophical problems. I believe in something. So taking our marketing language from come take this tour to need time away, need what, you know, to connect with nature, need to connect with whole foods. So set aside 30 minutes and think about maybe 3 different types of consumer that you're trying to reach. So maybe that's the local person on island who is, you know, here. What is a external need for them? What is an internal need for them? So sort of a better way of thinking about that instead of external, internal is sort of by emotion. So an external problem would be, I want something or I need something. An internal problem would be, I feel a certain way. The marketing language and you want to use is that your product solves that problem from them, or your offering solves that problem for them. So does that make sense? I can sort of go more into
sounds like
how
we
that
need to hang out
exercise is run.
somebody send me this recording. I get you completely. You're talking about how to language marketing, and you're saying address feelings. The feelings with us are want to feel good, want to feel like you are not stuck in an apartment. This is the virtual tour again. Sorry, Robbie.
Yeah.
Want to be a part of taking care of the Aina. You know, want to Malama Aina, right?
Yes.
Want to. Am I on the right track?
Yeah, you are. And I think just spending, you know, a little bit of time by yourself and with your team, sort of noodling through those different types of scenarios can be really helpful, because there's sort of a barrier right now. A lot of my other clients on island who offer in-person tours and activities are struggling, because even if it's not sort of a conscious thing, unconsciously people are still really scared to be in public, and so, or be around other people. And so if you can sort of navigate or communicate around that problem of, I want to do things with my friends and family, but I feel a little bit hesitant or a little bit apprehensive to do so. If you can meet that need with your product or your offering, I think you'll be a lot more successful in reaching the people who are on island and here. So that's one suggestion, is running through an exercise like that. And then I have sort of another clarifying question of, what are you currently doing to communicate with your known audience or build a known audience? So driving traffic to a website and things that, you know, we call inbound marketing. So driving people to a specific spot is only one tiny part of the equation. It generally takes sort of in marketing 6 or 7 times for someone to see your content, see your marketing before they will consider making a purchase. So we have to sort of think about all of these different touch points. And so one of the ways we do that is being able to maintain more than just one-off communication. And so email marketing is one of the strongest ways we can do that. So what are you doing right now do you have an email marketing list? Are you communicating with people who have been on tours with you? What kind of things are happening in that area of marketing for you?
Yeah, we do have a list, and we have been. I'm not sure, like, okay, answering your question. Whoa, hang on, back it up. Let people know that it's private and safe. I think I could do a lot better job of that. The idea of tour seems like a group thing. Every single tour we've done has been a custom tour and a private tour, and we language that, but I think that's something that is, I feel like the mayor said, don't do this, and it's a tour, there's gonna be other people. There's not other people. I will take you around. Mm-hmm. I will take anybody around. Alex will take anybody around. We've got all these people, we're masked up, it's so safe. But that, I think, is a big one. Jumping into that, yeah, my email list basically is like the best thing ever. So when people come, here's how this works. And here's how, in a typical time, our model of agriculture is actually, I believe, still a really important potential future thing to keep farmers farming and make people actually want to farm. So you come to the farm, you have an experience which is paid for. And in my direct experience, people will pay quite a bit for a farm tour. We're 5 stars in TripAdvisor. They have a great time. And then they become these amazing advocates for your farm. And then they buy a bunch of stuff and they tell everyone about it. We frequently get the best thing we did on our vacation. Everyone who goes there, I tell them, go to you. We have a lot of word of mouth spread out over the United States, but it's potent. And then, you sign up for an email list. And if you, booked a tour, we have your email. And then you get a follow-up email saying, welcome to the chocolate ohana. And then you get our email marketing. And yeah, so our online sales have like doubled.
Okay.
The biggest month we've ever had, usually around Christmas, like we've been slamming those. Now, in this hot summer when like the country's on fire, basically in more than one way, online sales have dropped off a little bit. I think some of that, and I don't know why that is. Maybe we could figure that out, Tessa. Is it because it's hot and people don't want to ship chocolate? Very valid. Is it because people are stressed out because of COVID and I'm not really addressing their sort of deep feelings? Could be. Or have I just marketed too much to this list? Totally could be. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, we are all about it. And I think the thing is that list is mostly people who are visitors.
Right. And so doing something now to bring in people, keep refreshing, keep adding new to that list. So one way to do that is have some kind of value proposition, right? Email addresses are really valuable these days. And I don't know about anyone else on the panel, but I always have that moment of hesitation of like, do I really need 15% off for, endless spam in my email or whatever? And so sort of offering sort of a try before you buy to get someone to make that valuable trade of I'll give you my email address. Can you put together a PDF on how to host your own chocolate tasting at home, or some kind of free giveaway that would entice someone to give you an email address? It doesn't necessarily have to translate to a discount right now, since we're all sort of in a moment of scarcity with the things that are going on with COVID. And so while it's always nice to give a discount, there are other ways of providing value and getting something in return from your customer that can, in the long run, turn out really, really well for you. So I would try something like that as well, so that anyone coming to your site now from your SEO efforts, from the ads you're going to start running, have a very clear call to action of, okay, if I give them my email address, I'm going to learn a little bit more, right? Because if these are new people coming from ads, we have that 6-7 time barrier before they jump to purchase potentially. So anything you can do to bring those new people into your fold and communicate them, have a relationship with them before you sort of, think about if you operated a store and the first time I walked into your store, you shoved something in my face and said, would you like to buy this? It doesn't work as well as, hey, welcome to my store. Let me tell you all about it. And trying to cultivate a relationship. So same thing with email marketing and same thing with your website. Got
it. Two things. One, in addition to that, we launched a subscription box. And so part of the subscription box is featuring Kauai businesses, and also this sense of like, there's all these value-added businesses who have maybe a little bit of a cross-section of the same customers, but also different customers. So that kind of co-promoting. So for example, Aloha Spice Company, we're going to do like a little cacao, shaker, one spicy, one sweet. They're awesome. They've got a great list. They're going to blast it out. We're going to blast them out. It'll look good for them, look good for us. They might get some people. We might get some people. So that's another thing. There's all these wonderful value-added businesses. Kristal, we're talking with you about doing one. And can we kind of share a little bit? Koloa Rum will be big for that. I'm talking with Fred Cowell about doing Kauai Coffee and Lydgate Farms virtual tastings with their Q graders there. And they've got, God knows how many people on their email list.
Oh, so I can tell you.
That's a way. Great. So, and then the second thing is, Tessa, can we talk more later? Because there's so much. There's a lot of warm tones and warm ideas and good things coming out of your screen there. And I would like more. So
absolutely. Anytime.
I have chocolate. I don't know how this works. But like, even just, I just need to watch that recording again. Like,
well, we have it all recorded.
My mind exploded. I can't take in any more information. But I have an email address, and Bria can maybe do an intro over there. Great.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'd be happy to.
Okay, we're tight on time, so we're gonna go ahead and jump over to Kristal. Kristal, why don't you jump on here and share questions, ideas to Will before we've got just like 10 minutes left to kind of wrap up. So hop in.
I'll be quick. I don't know. Honestly, everyone had such good ideas. I don't know how helpful I'll be. I guess as a clarifying question, Will, I have some ideas on both ends, but are you more focused on online sales, reaching, virtual tours? Are you more focused, like Robbie was saying, more on island, focused on the locals, or a little bit of both?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Both.
Okay, cool. I guess then, just as a suggestion, Tessa, amazing as per usual. I love how she kind of like combined the both, because she really has great ideas for both on and off island. I guess I would say, as an idea, ebooks are really popular, and there's a company on Maui, Coconut Mana, I don't know, amazing company. I'll send you the link, and he sells a book, $5-10, and that's what you would sell it for yours.
Okay, information.
Yes, he's amazing. In that book, you could do it just like chocolate, beautiful photos. People who want to be chocolatiers, people who want to learn how to make chocolate, can buy a $5 ebook. It's super affordable, beautiful stuff, tons of information, very clear. Ebooks are going big. You make money off your ebook, and now you have a whole new list of emails, people who are really dedicated to you. So that's one idea for off island that just kind of came to my head. I don't know what you would think about that.
What's the ebook called?
What, honey?
What's the ebook called?
It's the coconut one is just the coconut information.
No, what's my ebook?
Oh.
In your mind, what's my ebook? I know what
your ebook?
ebook.
I would say your demographic is me. So like I'll have to think about that, because, and just like an on island person, like if we switch to that, I'm going to try to talk really fast. If we switch to on island marketing, I am literally your consumer. Like when I go places, when I travel places, or just wherever I am, I want to get the best quality food. It excites me. It's what I look for. I love agriculture. I love businesses like yours. Like, so when you're talking about how to bring in more locals, you're really talking to, honestly, somebody like me. Like, I have a family with multiple kids. Like, we're looking for stuff to do. So when you're saying all this stuff about how to engage the locals, in my head, I'm like, okay, what would get me up to Lydgate Farm to do a tour for X amount of dollars with my family, like you said? So that's really tricky, because my family wants to go to the beach and wants to ride motorbikes on the weekend. And, as much as I would love to go do a chocolate tour at Lydgate Farms, and it's awesome, it would be, I can see how that's going to be a challenge. And so I think, one, radio ads is actually a really smart idea, but I think you really should, before you launch it, think about exactly how to get somebody like me and my family up to do a tour, before you just are like, Lydgate Farms, do a tour, do something specific. Does that make sense? And I don't know what that specific thing is, but being really,
I don't know either, but I know that there's something, and I'm like, okay, it ties into the feelings thing.
Exactly.
What's the oblique cell? Not the thing, do it.
Well, I think right
like,
now,
come into our story. Oh, and we get to eat a chocolate fruit. See? Whoa, chocolate fruit. Crazy. I've never done that. I have to do it, Mom.
To be honest with you, the only way, if you were gonna reach to me, I don't think, maybe my kids would be excited about it. I think that if you're gonna reach to me and like what's going on right now, or not me, but like the demographic, parties are a no. So if you can actually say, hey, are you celebrating? This is actually might be a stupid idea. I don't know, but are you celebrating something? Is it someone's birthday or something like that? To be able to have a get together around a small business or something like that, maybe serve wine, maybe do something that's actually more like friend. Like, this might be a terrible idea, but in COVID right now, you're not allowed to have parties. You're not allowed to, do all this stuff. Support a small business, get together with your friends, have an outing, have a bunch of delicious chocolate. I'm trying to think of something that, and I might be alone on this, but it would be really hard for me to get my family like up on the weekend to do a chocolate tour. And I'm just being like completely honest. So if you are going to launch a radio ad, be really specific about what it is and give really, really, really good discounts. That would honestly be my in my opinion, if you are focusing local. And then also figuring out a way, like Robbie said, you know, you don't want to downgrade your chocolate or quality, but you can always come out with a smaller portion. You could do a bar half the size for a little bit, you know, you do a $15 chocolate bar now, but you can do a $8 chocolate bar that's half the size, and $8 is a lot easier to manage, and you're actually making more the same because of the packaging. And
I mean, the reality piece on that is that involves a mold design and packaging design, buying 30,000 units of packaging.
But it could also be a long-term investment too, and if you make it to where your margins are actually better, it's more accessible for people to buy an $8 bar of chocolate in the long term than a $15. Just as something to think about. It's not like that mold's going to go away as soon as COVID goes away.
That's
You know,
true.
it could be a long
Question
term.
is, do I have actually $30,000 sitting around too?
Probably not.
Sit in a
But
warehouse.
You know, in your back pocket, right? Well,
you can just get the regular mold and just use a hand and, you know, wrap it yourself. There are problems to these solutions, I found, or solutions to these problems.
I love all the discussion. This is fantastic. I would actually have to echo Kristal. I would be your customer too in that world. And I would have to echo Kristal when she started saying, man, what would have been an amazing birthday way to celebrate my birthday? Like, what would be an amazing way to celebrate my birthday? Because I can't have a bunch of people over to my house. I would love to do a chocolate tour. And I think Kristal's going down that route where I feel like if you're looking at that demographic, it's solving that question that Tessa was asking, you know, like how is this going to make me feel? Like what internal, external problem am I going to solve? And really that's one of the biggest challenges with our community right now. And this demographic is there's an emotional emptiness happening, and chocolate could fulfill that through the experience. And we're just saying that. So we're 4 minutes to close, and we had so many great discussions. I mean, this could go another 5 hours, I think. This is like one of those where the back and forth with the panelists is just endless. And I think every single one of our panelists have probably countless of ideas to work with you, Will. So I think one of the most amazing things about these hot seats is that now we put these conversations into motion, and we want to make sure that we can keep this going because we want to make sure that you succeed, Will. So, you know, we're going to run right through this real quick to you, Will, and give you a moment to share any remarks that you have from this experience, because we have only about 3 minutes left. And then if there's any more time, then I'm going to speed it to everyone on the panelists to see if there's anything else they want to add. So, Will, do you have any follow-up remarks that you want to share before we push it out to the panelists? And
yeah, make direct to consumer the main thing on the site. Look into the SEO. Press release, Dennis Fujimoto. Workshops on cacao, how to grow chocolate. Go hang out with John. Let people know it's private, it's safe. Keep adding to the list. Hang out with Tessa. Phone call alert. Ebook, Growing Chocolate in Hawaii. Kristal and Addison are my customer. Ask them what they like. Host a chocolate tasting in exchange for an email, radio ads. Be really specific. What's the feeling? Sell. What is it? It's not come do this thing. It's what's the solve? What's the thing? And I like the party angle. The party hook is really big.
Love it, man. You're gonna be churning all night. I don't think you're gonna sleep. Just eat some more chocolate.
I'm gonna sleep. I'm a good sleeper.
All right, so I'm just gonna go real quick, rapid fire to the panelists. One thing that you guys want to add, and which we'll hopefully get through everybody. So Tyler, is there one more thing you want to add?
Well, I'm gonna come and tour your place. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna hit up my wife. We're gonna do the family, kids, all. Okay. I'm gonna make it happen.
Love it, Kristal.
Just love you, Will, and I'm also gonna come up there. Me and my friends. It's gonna be me and Bria. We're gonna come up there. It's gonna be awesome.
I love it.
We love you. We're stoked.
Love you too. Thank you.
Tessa.
I guess I don't have anything to add, but I look forward to continuing the conversation with you. So, yeah.
Delightful.
Fantastic, John. Oh.
Love you too, man.
I love the wine and chocolate. That's great. The wine and chocolate. And then the other thing I thought of was, because cacao is it's a small tree, lots per acre. What about to your email list, an adopt a tree program?
I'm all over it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So yeah.
My best ideas are always taken.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's this Kickstarter campaign. You know what I mean? Adopt a tree. Love it. Like, absolutely. I think people would probably do that. We could do like a little plaque. Yeah.
Love it.
But it's
Robbie.
going on the new list. There's so many lists, you guys. It's messed up. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit.
Like cook cow, low hanging. Sorry, Robbie.
So when Kristal was talking, it made me think of Girls' Night Pauhana at Lydgate. Yeah,
Hey,
with the wine and the chocolate. I love it. I also know that, Will, you are fantastic, and no matter what you do, you're going to succeed. So you'll get there.
Love it. Wow, what an amazing hot seat. Will, do you have any remarks you want to share before we wrap it up? Anything else?
Well, this was delightful. Thank you for the love and thank you for the support. You know, you have my support as well, and I hope to follow up with all of you, because everyone had just amazing things to contribute, and my team thanks you as well, although they're not left.
Awesome. Thank you everybody so much for jumping on. This is the Entrepreneur Hot Seat, hosted through the Rice Street Business Association and sponsored by the County of Kauai. And so we want to shout out to all of them for making this possible. Thank you to all of our panelists. Thank you to our entrepreneur who is in the hot seat. Make sure attendees, if you can, fill out that form on the feedback so we can figure out if there's anything we need to do better or if there's things that we can connect you with. And join us in October. We are going to host another hot seat. So please stay tuned. Thank you everybody for joining us. Have a great night. Aloha.